useful for our students, especially our students are associated with the project type. Since we are in the industry side, so we have very means what limited knowledge with respect to the design, and when we handle the project, that design knowledge is very much required to means to tell our students. So for last 2 3 lectures or whatever the webinar you people had organized is very useful for me. So that I got a lot of knowledge with a practical point of view, so that I can impart to my students. That's what I can say. Means I got the benefit from that. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you, thank you.
Yes, thank you for that feedback. Actually, what we were trying to do is make a series of webinars going right from the basic understanding that even a student who is studying in the 9th standard, 10th standard can actually understand the concept.
Correct, correct.
And then try to go in actually how the design thinking process works or is been taught in a design school. So it's a kind of a story that tried to embark upon. And today we are going to go deep dive into design thinking, and hopefully this session should be useful to you, because this is a process which is very useful, and the products or the services you make following this process, it actually connects to the users, because that's the whole point of the design thinking methodology.
Yes, sir. Yes, yes.
And also Mr. Suraj, why we are taking these sessions is because subjects like design thinking is not been taught in engineering schools. It is more of a technical thing, and
Correct,
design
correct.
thinking is more a behavior, come emotional. So there are a lot of other aspects to the design domain.
Exactly, exactly.
Which you
There we see only the means in the book, within the limit of the books. This
Correct,
is
correct.
like beyond that.
Yes,
I can
correct,
observe.
correct, very much.
Yes.
And today's after the post COVID and the months that we are facing, it has become very relevant, because every product it is now getting emotionally connected to people.
Yes, yes,
And
yes.
so it's very important that the designers also design it taking the users problems and what pain points they face, and trying to build the products.
Yes,
So
sir.
that is why it has become very relevant now, and it is something that every designer should consider when they design any product.
Hi, Ranjita ma'am. Thank you for
Hello. Yeah, good afternoon, Sudeep.
Yes, ma'am. How are you, ma'am?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah. So, ma'am, this is the first time you're going to attend a design innovation.
Yes, yes, yes.
So, ma'am, can you give a quick introduction about your designation and about the kind of projects or kind of students that interact with you, so that Sumuk can keep a note of it?
Yeah, well, we are a non-technical institute because my college, we are offering programs in arts and science. And of course, I would like to know about design thinking. And we are having now Institutions Innovation Council at our college. And I would like to go ahead with various projects with my students. So I would like to, take some, acquire some knowledge with the resource person. So let me just attend this session, and then I can think what sort of things I can implement in my college under Institutions Innovation Council. That's the reason I'm attending this.
Sure.
Yes,
Thank
yeah. So, Dr. Ranjita, I think this session would find you more interesting, because it's actually non-technical. It is a process which anyone can go through the different stages, and it is something which is quite different from the technical product design thinking process. So, I really hope you enjoy this and you understand the basic concept of design thinking. It will be very, very helpful actually.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, we have more messages from Mrs. Dinesh.
Yes, Mr. Akash Pawar is also.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll start.
Akash Pawar is our student.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
he is finally
Third year
nice.
mechanical
third
engineering.
year mechanical.
Yes.
He is and Bradley.
Thank you, Mrs. Dinesh. We'll quickly start with the session.
Yeah.
So once again, on behalf of the Goa State Innovation Council, I welcome all our participants for today's program that is on design thinking. The session by Mr. Sumukh Kamath. The topic of today's session will be a human-centric approach to solving problems. I'll quickly introduce a speaker for today's webinar, Mr. Sumukh Kamath, an accomplished and a creative product design manager possessing 17 plus years of industrial design, product development experience, and proven ability to re-energize and restructure organizations, develop strategic initiatives, and capture emerging business opportunities. He is currently founder and managing partner for Energy Footprint, a firm mainly focused on design and development of clean energy products and innovation management to drive innovation mindset in companies. He has also a space called Weekend Invention, which gives a platform to small-time inventors and inventions happening in the state of Goa. Thank you so much, Sumukh, for agreeing to conduct this series of webinars for us. And over to you, Sumukh. Thank you.
So yeah, so thank you, Sudeep, for the nice introduction today. And it's my pleasure to be here and giving this session on design thinking, because for me, being in product design for so many years, design thinking has been an integral part of what I do, and it has become very relevant in the last couple of years. And every company is trying to work on improving the design thinking methodology in all the companies. So I bring this small session to you in the hope that you will try to start this journey of design thinking, because for me, design thinking is for everyone. Okay. So if we start, we will start with some important tips and some things that we did in the last sessions of design thinking. So what we did is, in the very first session, we asked ourselves why innovation is very important. So the relevance of innovation in today's world is completely like a sentence that we say, innovate or die. That's how it is actually come to. So in this last sessions, we said innovation is important. It has to be driven. It has to be in everyone's mind. And then we went through the 10 pointers of innovations. So for this, I really request you to see my last sessions on design thinking. And these were the 10 pointers that we actually went through. So the first pointer was to visualize the end product, getting into the customer's shoes, working backwards towards the problem, benchmarking your product. Then we also saw the 5 why principle in design. The form follows function. Stay focused on the customer needs. Be aesthetically relevant. Think long term. And the last one was very important, because this is a very important uh, process in the whole design thinking. Failing, you will fail a numerous times, but when you stop, that is the time where it is very bad, because it's all about falling and getting up again, falling and getting up, and making your products more and more improvised and more refined. So these were the 10 pointers that actually we touched upon. And I again ask you to go through this session, because we have given examples and more details for this pointers. And these are important if you're going on a design thinking journey. In the second session, again, I emphasized that the creative side, or uh, that every person is creative. So that's the statement we made, and that is again a very true statement. If you really want to do design thinking, you first have to believe in yourself and believe that every one of us is creative in his own way. And the second thing was the concept of create and consume, where I gave a very nice example to make you understand why creating is more important than consuming. consuming is also important, but when you are creating something with your own hands and trying to iterate, it brings the whole design thinking process to a different level. So these were two starting points for the design thinking process. And the third one was, I explained to you the launch, which was a very easy methodology to implement in schools and colleges. So this was my second session that we did. And you can go through this second session also, because this is like part two of the story of how we are going about design thinking. So one question you all have in your mind, uh, design thinking, is it applicable to me? Is it applicable to a school or a government agency? So I just wanted to put this first question. Do you think design thinking is applicable for you? And I will give you just 3 pointers, and maybe this will help you. So this is a very normal scenario where there is a startup or a new business, and they want to create a new product. So they want the design thinking to be applicable in this area. So this is a very obvious need for design thinking. The second one is, there could be a government organization, so they want to work on a project to conserve energy or to conserve water, and try to solve a lot of social problems. So here also you can use design thinking to actually solve the problem which is occurring and try to improve the current situation. The third is, again, if there is a technology company and they want to do some user friendly designs, so here also you can use the design thinking, because it's very obvious. Okay, so these three things already people are doing. I want to ask you whether, apart from this, whether you can use design thinking. Just wanted to get some feedback and some ideas from you. So I just leave it open for you for a couple of minutes. Do you think design thinking is applicable to you? Yes or no? And if it is yes, then how?
A business looking for its new big idea. A government organization trying to get people to conserve energy, or a technology company that wants a user-friendly design.
Anyone? Or any thoughts?
Sir, is applicable
Yes.
to most people. It is applicable to most people,
Yeah.
especially entrepreneurs,
Yes.
engineers,
Yes.
because whenever we make a new product, it is 99% of the time it is going to be for solving a problem which is already pre-existing. And very
Yes.
often when you start solving these problems, newer problems showing up. So we need to keep innovating so that whenever the next problem comes,
Yes.
we are better prepared to attack and provide a viable solution for it.
Yes, very much. So actually, what you're trying to see is, or you're trying to say is, any problem that you face anywhere, maybe in your society where you're living, okay? If there is a problem in your school, so any problem that you can solve, you can apply the design thinking process to it, okay? So actually, the design thinking process is applicable everywhere and anywhere. So that's the message, okay? Good. So if there is there are no other feedbacks, I will continue, and then we will take it as people give their inputs. So when we learn about design thinking as a process, uh, these are the 5 stages of design thinking: empathize, define, ideate, prototype, and test. And I will explain each of this stage as we go in the next slides. And That's why I asked you a question. So design thinking is nothing but it's a collaborative approach. So it's a lot of people coming together trying to solve a problem, or the designer collaborating with a lot of people to solve the problems. Like he will have, like if you're a student, okay, so you will have uh, the professors, the faculty as the people who are supporting you in the project. You'll also have some suppliers. You'll also have some like-minded students who would want to take the project. So the design thinking project is a collaborative. It is also iterative. Iterative means you will have to do a lot of prototypes to perfect the product you want to do. And the more you iterate, the more refined product you will get. The third thing is it's also a human centered approach. So when I go through the next slides, you will understand why it is human centered. And basically it is for solving the problems, so in your business, organization, or society. So this is a very simple meaning of design thinking. Okay.
Vanna, you can see me. No, I stopped the video. Sure. Stop the video.
So we come with the traditional approach versus the design thinking approach. Now in the traditional approach, what happens is you have the traditional way of working on the product. So you will have lots of reports, documentation, and lot of theory that you will mug up for researching the product. You'll be scared of failing. Then you'll be only going forward if you are very certain of certain things. You are very certain of the problem. Your focus is only the solution. It is never how the user will feel, how the user will use it. So it is only focused on the problem, on the solution of that problem, and it is always to get it perfect the first time. But in design thinking, you try to show more than tell. So you try to show a mock-up. You make a small model, or if it is a web service, you try to make a draft app to show. So it is more of showing than just going through reports, documentation. So it's something that is more visual as an approach. And as I said, you have to learn from a failure. You have to fail numerous times and actually improve the product. So it's always it's a part and parcel of this design thinking approach. And you have to focus on the human values. The human values is very important in design thinking. It's one of the first stages where you have the empathize stage, and that is something that really connects you to the human problems that they face. And as you said, you have to iterate, and you have to not talk about the idea, you have to make the idea. Okay, so this is basically the difference between a traditional approach and what the design thinking approach is. You have any questions, you can also interrupt me in between. Okay, that is also fine. So this is a bit of more details of what the 5 stages are. So in the empathize, you learn about the audience and you observe them. Okay. In the define, you try to create a point of view. It's called a POV, a point of view or a problem statement. So you try to understand the user and then try to pinpoint the problem. So that's the define phase. While in the ideate phase, once you define the problem, you come up with different ideas. So that's the ideate stage. After you come up with different ideas, you want to make a prototype. So then we go with the prototype stage and then we test it. So basically these are very simple steps, but each phase is a very detailed phase, and it will involve a lot of research and a lot of ideas and a lot of techniques. So today I'll try to touch upon a few tools or a few templates or few guides which you can do in each stage, because going too deep inside will be it will take a lot of time. Okay. So basically these are 5 stages. So this is what you have to always remember. And one more thing, every company nowadays have come up with their own terminologies. So empathize could be some other word in a different company. But the thing is, you have to understand the concept of the phases. That is more important. So you see this graph. So if you type anything in Google, say design thinking, and then you're going to some images, you'll always try to see this graph, because this graph is very important to tell you how your mind reacts to different stages. Okay. So there is a diverge and there is a converge. What does diverge mean? Diverge means that in these phases you really have to open up. You have to open your mind to all ideas, all inputs. So you are actually getting a lot of data in, and trying to be innovative. You're trying to think out of the box. So that's diverge. And when you are going for a converge phase, that means you are trying to narrow down. So basically, if I try to make you understand this, in the first two stages, empathize and define, when you're actually observing the user, you're going there with an open mind. Okay. And you're, so it's a diverge phase. And as you go in define, you're actually trying to narrow down the problem. So that's where you try to converge. So this is how it goes down. And in the ideate, what happens? You again try to diverge, because you are now trying to find solutions. So you see how nicely it is done. It's a very nice thing to remember very easily. And this is a very important process, because you have to diverge and converge, and then only you will be able to really come up with a very good solution. So always remember, this diverge converge kind of a process is very important when you're doing design thinking. So now we are in the ideate stage. So we are again diverging. Now, when we are making the prototype and the testing for the prototype, we are again trying to narrow down on that, because we have like thousands of ideas, but then maybe we have to make 2 protos only. So there we are trying to narrow down. So this becomes a very important form or a graph when you are doing a design thinking process. Okay. And you will see this everywhere, on every page. So this is how you make, how you understand the concept. So that is why I put it here. Another thing, what design thinking process tells you is, this is a very simple diagram. Okay. So viability, desirability, and feasibility. And if you see, the intersection of this is where our design thinking lives. Okay. Where it has its home. These 3 points are very important for getting the best out of your product. Desirability. Can somebody tell me what is desirability? What it means, or what you know about desirability, what it is? Can somebody tell me? Anyone? What is it? What is this quality of that the product is desirable? Anyone in the group? See, you can be wrong, so don't get scared. That's part of the design thinking process. But you start thinking, and that's very important, because I said this is a very interactive sessions. If you don't speak out, I will stop here. So what is desirable? What do you mean by a product is very desirable? What it is? You can give me a few words on few clues. I'm not
So
able to
the
hear
need
you.
of the design.
Come again. I'm not able to hear you.
So the need of the design.
The need. So let me just write it. Need. Okay. Anyone else?
Ability is
The. No, I'm not able to get the word. Need is a very close word. Any other
The
words?
quality required.
Quality.
Required.
Quality required. Okay.
So how worthy the product is actually, whether it is worthy enough.
Yes. Worthiness. Okay. Very nice. Very nice. Okay. So desirable means how good the product is, whether it has all the features that you want. Like your smartphone has a lot of features. So for a smartphone, the desirable qualities would be the camera for everyone now, because they are always on the Facebook and Instagram, right? So that's desirable. These are desirable qualities that the product that you want, you should have. So it's desirability. Viability. Any examples or any words? What is viable? When is a product viable?
when it meets certain requirements
Hmm.
of the consumer, like pricing and
You're saying when it meets the
value for
requirement.
money. Yes, sir.
Okay. So I'm writing like a doctor because I'm finding it a bit difficult to write this way. So excuse me for that. So this looks like a prescription, na? So meets the requirement. Okay. So I'll tell you an example of viability. Now, for example, there's a lotus in the pond and it's trying to bloom. Now, the viability is that this lotus, the ecosystem should support the lotus to bloom. Okay, similar in the ecosystem where the product is created, the surroundings should let the product live in the market. So that is what viability is. Understood? So meets the requirement is on the same lines, but it is more of a support system which enables the product to do well in the market. That's viability. Whether 1,000 people will use it, okay, whether some people will use it for some other and keep it alive in the market. That's viability. And feasibility. Any words? What is feasible? When a product is feasible?
When it is capable.
Capable. Okay, good word. Capable. Okay.
Profitable.
You said profitable. Did you say profitable?
Yes, sir.
Okay, a different word, but profitable. I would say you can say cost effective would be a kind of a feasible term.
Economical, sir.
Economical, yes, very good. So this three words actually makes a lot of meaning to the product, and this is most of the design schools, they teach you these three words because it remains in your mind. Your product has to be desirable, it has to be viable, and it has to be feasible. These things, when they get together, then your product really becomes a very good product too. Okay, so that's why this, it's a very simple diagram, but it has a lot of meaning, so that's why I put it across. So good feedback. Then there is one more three letter which is very important. I'll just try to rub this off if it's coming in the way. Okay. So ideation, inspiration, and implementation. So this becomes your core activities when you're design thinking. So ideation, These are more simpler words: inspiration and implementation. Okay, so ideation is you ideate a lot of new ideas, you get inspired also during the phase, and then you try to implement it. So it's very simple. But then these are the, this becomes the core activities of design thinking. So these two diagrams are very important when you start your design thinking process. Okay, so I just leave it blank. Can you guess what this is or what it means? Anyone want to take a shot? Just understand this once and then try to understand and give your feedback of what this means. So I put a detective, artist, scientist, architect, journalist. What it means?
So which step we have to do, like which profession?
Okay, okay, very close. Anyone else?
So whenever we are creating a new product, we have
Yes.
to understand like a
Yes. So
converge
yeah,
like
yeah,
scientist.
yeah. So this diverge converge first of all is very important. And what happens is when you diverge and when you converge, you are actually going in the different caps of people. So I just put this forward because it gives you a nice correlation to what you should be in that phase. So if you are going in the empathize phase, and you are also going in the define phase kind of here. So in the first phase, you are trying to understand the user. So you're like in a detective mode, you're trying to ask questions. So that's why this is very important to understand and get the best out of each phase, because the first phase and the second phase is completely very important for you to actually define the problem and then solve it in a very in a proper way where users actually get benefited from it. Okay, so you become a detective. You actually this is a very interesting, so I'll just keep it on top a bit. The designer or the artist and the scientist. Now when you are doing a define, ideate, and trying to narrow down your problems to make a proto. Okay, so during this phase what happens is you are trying to be artist, so you're trying to be creative. You're trying to make things, you're looking at different things, you're looking at future projects. But then when you're trying to analyze the things whether it will work or no, you go into a scientist mode, and then you try to experiment, you try to do a lot of research. And that's why this things, when you focus on, like you are a designer, you are a scientist, it actually makes you think like that. And it's all psychological, and it's very important for the phases of design thinking. And that is why I put this slide, so that you remember this. Your first thing is like a detective, you have to ask a lot of questions and get a lot of data, whereas in the next stages you try to become more open, ideate a lot of ideas, try to see which ideas work, which don't. So you go in the artist scientist mode. Architect is always, you remember, as somebody who creates, right? He creates houses, he does a lot of interior work for you. So architect, you always relate with making a prototype, and when you're testing it is like a journalist, so you're doing a lot of testing and stuff like that. So that's why it's a good way of remembering things. Okay, now we go with the first stage of design thinking, which is empathize. Now in this particular design thinking, we directly engage with people, so that you can better understand how they work, how they behave. And there are a lot of things that you need to observe. And when we go through the next slides, you will come to know exactly what things you need to do in this stage, because this stage is very important to get as much of data you can about the user. Because if you get 100 of inputs from the user, you will be able to analyze and come to a very good problem statement in the second phase of define. Okay, this is a saying from the former Lego CEO. So if you want to understand the animals, you don't go to a zoo, you go to a jungle. And why he says that is, if you want to understand your users, you should go to the proper place where they will use it, and not go somewhere else or assume things. And that is one difference between, again, the traditional approach and the design thinking approach. In the traditional approach, you guess things, you think what will the user think without actually observing. And when I'm going in the next part of the slides, I'll give you a very simple example of the observing and the guessing, what difference it makes to the end product. So you have to be a empathic observer, okay, in the first phase. And these are some qualities you have to embark on. And this is very important if you really want to do the phase in the true sense of it. So first of all, you have to abandon your ego. If you have some ego, you have some prerequisites, you have some things on your mind, you have to let go. You have to be a good listener, you have to hone your observation skills, you have to be very caring, and you have to be very humble. So why you have to be caring, humble, is because even when you are taking interviews, say, so it is very important that you are very humble, you are very caring, and the people also you're talking to understands this, and they open out to you. Okay, so that is very important. If they don't open out to you, you will not be able to get the different insights of the problem from them. Okay, so these qualities are very important. You have to also be curious, you have to ask more questions, but ask in a proper way. And you have to be sincere with whatever data you are getting. So these are 7 small things that you need to keep in mind when you are actually going in the first phase of observing the user. So this is something called personas. I'll just tell you what it is, and I think this will be fun when you try to see this. So who is this? Any guesses? Who is this?
Swami Vivekananda.
Swami Vivekananda. Okay, one more guess. See, I told you can be wrong, but you talk and let go and speak out, because you will fail. Then
Sadhguru.
you will. Yeah, so yeah. Somebody said Sadhguru. Okay, I don't know. Any more guesses? Any more guesses? Okay, so he's Shri Sadhguru. He is one of the more motivational speaker, and when he speaks, you see his YouTube videos. So when he speaks, he's such a gentle person, and when he speaks, you feel very calm. Okay, so he's our first Baba. Okay, Sadhguru Baba. So now when we come to empathy, we try to see our observer. So let us say Shri Sadhguru is one of our user. So when we see him, what do you feel? What are the words that come out? So I just want to write it down. You just tell me what are the words that come out. And if people know Sadhguru, maybe they can tell better words of what will come out. So I just want to open it up again for the audience. What are the words or sentences that come out when I see a person like this? So actually observing him now. Okay.
So wisdom.
Wisdom. Very good. So yes, it looks like he's a very guy who has a lot of knowledge. What else?
He speaks about self-realization.
Okay, he speaks about self-realization. Okay. Okay.
Spiritual.
Spiritual. Very nice.
He's a very good orator.
Very nice. He's a very, very good orator. And when he speaks, the world listens. Very nice. What else? See, in this, you have to just open up. Just so it has to, just flow. Keep on flowing. Come on. And
He's a very simple and a down-to-earth person.
okay, very nice word. Simple and down to earth. What you feel now? Let us talk about your feelings. What you feel when you see him? Don't you feel
So
a certain
calm.
calm? Yes, very nice. You feel a certain calm when you see him. Looks a very calm person. And there is a very, very important aspect that he has, important behavior he has, which is which very few of us have. I'll just put it down. He never gets angry. Have you seen him ever get angry? Never angry. He will go to the worst of debates, and the other person will get more angry, but he will remain calm. So you will never get angry. One of the best things to learn from him. Enough, or you want to give some more? No one else? I'll give one more word.
Sir, compassion.
What you said? You said compassion, compassionate or something?
Compassion.
Okay, compassion, right? Okay. How about old? Doesn't he look old?
Yes.
Okay. So it is more of, a kind of a brainstorming thing. When you are there observing people, you have to just write down whatever things you, because this is all the data you want. And the more users, this is just one user, but you're getting a lot of data from this person just seeing a photo. So you just imagine if the person is right in front of you, how much of things you will actually note down of the person. And obviously you'll ask him questions also and get some inputs of what is the this is just an example I gave to you, but you see the process. Okay, so this is Sri Sadguru. Now we go to another personality. So any guesses, or I'll just put down his name here. So Mr. Narendra Modi. So what do you see when you see him? What are the things that come in your mind? So we're going from a Baba to a politician. What words?
The man with
The man with the
vision,
vision.
foresight.
Yes, very nice. Visionary. He's a visionary. Very important skill set that he has. Very few of us have that.
Sir, a good speaker.
Good speaker. English speaker or Hindi speaker?
Hindi.
Hindi. Very nice. And he speaks English also very well. What else? Only two. He also looks old, right? I'll just put it down. So all people are, old people. I'll just put also wisdom. No, things that come out. Anything else? Some new words.
So leader.
Leader, very nice. He is a leader. Nice word.
He displays confidence.
Very nice. He displays a lot of confidence when he speaks. Also, Sadhguru.
Sir, trendsetter.
Trendsetter, very nice. That's a nice word. Trendsetter. So we are getting a lot of inputs now, and different. You see, you're getting different words now. So your mind is now tickling you to speak out more. Any words? Any more words?
Sir, Gujarati.
Gujarati. Okay, not bad. That's also a trait, being Gujarati, because he'll have a different set of things that he will do. He'll have a different process. Mumbaikar will have a different process of going about things. That's very important. That's very nice. His mind also will think about different aspects. Maybe the price for a Gujarati would matter more than for a person from Delhi. So everything is important when you are in the first phase. So you try to collect as much as you can before you go to the define phase. Okay, so we'll stop at this, and then we'll go to another personality. This is more fictional kind of a character. Okay. So we call him Shri Gabbar Singh. Why Shri Gabbar Singh? Because as I said, in the empathize mode, and when you're in that, you let go your ego. Everyone is the same. So we call him Shri Gabbar Singh because we also need to learn from him. Correct? So Mr. Gabbar Singh has what qualities and what things come to your mind when you see Mr. Gabbar Singh? So we call him Shri Gabbar Singh. Good qualities, huh? You're looking at all the good qualities here. And some bad qualities also, but let's leave it for this example.
Leader.
You said leader?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Leader.
Focused on his targets.
Focused on his targets. Okay.
Sir, commanding voice.
Very nice. Commanding voice. Commanding voice is a good one. Something different today. What else? Today I thought Gabbar Singh would be blank, but we are getting there. And that's all about what design thinking is about. I see a lot of known faces also on the camera. So maybe they can speak out. What is the famous dialogue of Gabbar Singh? One of the famous dialogues. Kitne aadmi the? And there was one more famous dialogue, that's a bigger dialogue. I hope I remember it. It was like जब बच्चा रोता था तो माँ कहती थी सो जा नहीं तो गब्बर सिंह आएगा. So so you see a lot of fear, right, for him. That's a trait. Scared. You get scared when you see him. So you see, you can actually put a lot of things on paper when you are observing people. So here's one bad habit which you can notice. I'm not putting it down, but you notice that, right? So these are all things you should notice. How the person uses, what is his behavioral trends, where he goes, what time he comes back. Everything is important when you are actually observing persons. And that's what design thinking tells you as a student. Okay. So we'll go to the next thing. So in empathy, actually there are different types of empathy. This is called a cognitive empathy. So in cognitive empathy, what it is, you are trying to get into the users, as I said in the earlier sessions. So you're trying to get into the customer shoes. So you're putting yourself in somebody else's shoes. So it's the same thing. So this is cognitive empathy. You're trying to be the customer and see from their perspective. This is only cognitive. Now you're going with emotional empathy. So in the emotional empathy, you're trying to get into the emotions of the user. So how the user is feeling, if he's in a kind of a distress or he's feeling very good. So it's a part of emotions. So it's called emotional empathy. And then there is a third type, which is a compassionate empathy. So in compassion, you are actually trying to do the first two. And this is the empathy that you should be more focused on, where you not only understand and get into his shoes, but you also feel his emotions. So the compassionate empathy is something that is very important as a type of empathy you should be. And you should have your mind. Okay, so let me come to a very interesting case study. So there was this big company, and I think today everyone knows Oral B. So it's a toothbrush brand and does toothpaste and other products also. So they approached IDEO. IDEO is a very famed product design company and who started a lot of design thinking methodology in and across the globe. So they came to IDEO and they wanted to design a brush for the kids. Okay. And they said there are many players who are doing this and we want to be different. So if you really see this, there's nothing much about it's not rocket science to design a kid's brush, is it? This is what the brush that you have, the adult brush. And if you go now with the traditional approach, if I'm a designer, okay, so what I'll do is you have an adult brush which is so big and my hands are so big, so we use the hand to brush, right? So the traditional approach is, if my hand is so big, the kid's hand will be half of this, and if my fingers are so large, the kids will be half. So why don't I just scale down the toothbrush, and that's a kid's toothbrush, right? Very simple logic, nothing to think, nothing to ponder upon, correct? So now I want you to do one thing. Just type in Google if you can. You just type kid brushing teeth or a 5-year-old kid brushing teeth in Google and just see the images that come. Okay. Just type that and see the images that come. Now you're observing users. Let's say that you're observing the users, and I'll just put that across here. Okay. So this is 5-year kid brushing teeth. I just put on Google. You're getting this few images here. What do you see and what do you observe? Tell me. I'm sorry, I'm not able to see the chats. So maybe you can just put on the mic and speak. It gets a bit tedious to do that. Okay. So just tell me, what are things you see, observe?
So for some of them, the brush is slightly bigger.
The brush is slightly bigger, okay? But is it good or bad? What else?
So it is good. It is good
Good.
they are brushing their teeth.
Yeah. What else? What do you observe as an observer? You're observing these kids brushing their teeth. What do you observe? Very, very evident thing that you observe everyone doing. A clue. So I give you a clue.
So they're brushing only their front teeth.
They're brushing their front teeth. Okay, nice. Very good insight. What else? Observe, observe. Come on. You already are now into the design thinking mode now. And just think that you are the person who's supposed to design the toothbrush. So think in that way now. So it's very important that you do it because it's now on you. The onus is on you.
Colorful.
Colorful, okay, very nice. Colorful, okay. So that's one of the traits. So you got something that the kids maybe want a colorful brush, okay. So okay, colorful. So I'll
So
just,
innocence on their face,
what is it?
innocence on their faces while
Innocence
brushing
on
their
their
teeth.
face when they're brushing. Very nice. Very nice. Okay, let me just circle things now. See. See, what do you observe?
The way they are holding the brush.
The way they are holding the brush. Very nice. And now I go to the next picture. Now do you see what is the difference? So this is your adult and this is the kid. What is the,
Left and right, sir.
come on, I made it very easy for you now.
So
What is
the
the
size
difference
of the
between the
brush.
adult using the brush and the kid using the brush?
Left and right hand, sir.
The grip is different.
Left and right hand send. Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
The kid is enjoying brushing his teeth.
Seems like you just went out, logged out, maybe due to technical error. He should be back in some time. dear participants, please be online. I think Sumuk has logged out. He should join us shortly. Thank you.
Hello. I think the Zoom meeting went off. Could not connect back. Am I audible now?
Yes, Sumuk. Please.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll share my screen again. Okay. Able to see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay. So sorry, I could not get your answers. So what is the difference between these two?
Sumuk, the grip of an adult and a kid.
Yes, very much. Very nice. So here what we observe is when so let me just go back a bit. Okay, so you see the adult is using his fingertips, whereas the kid is using his fist. And that's a very evident pattern that you see. And when the IDEO designers actually observed this, they found that there is a difference between how they use it. And they designed a toothbrush, which is you see today, many companies when they're having a kid's toothbrush, they have this as a bigger section, which is soft. And that is the reason why they do that. And when they did this change, the first almost 2 years, Oral-B were the most highest selling kids toothbrush of all times. And this is a small thing that they noticed. But this is exactly what your design thinking is all about. And this is a very simple example where you get the importance of observing the user. That is why I say observing a user in the first phase is very relevant to how your product will be end of the day. Okay. So, Sudeep, what we can do is we can uh, do the first two phases today. Let's see how the time permits. How much time I have more now?
More 20 minutes.
20 minutes. So maybe two phases we'll do, and the next we'll do in the some other session. Otherwise, it will get too long for them. Okay. So this is again what we did in the previous one. It's kind of a persona mapping, and this is called empathy mapping. So you have a person called Jamie, and you have 4 quadrants. So Jamie, what she says, what she thinks, what she does, and what she feels. Okay. So now let us give an example of that. Jamie wants to buy a TV. And now in today's world, we are looking at LED TVs, right? Most of us want LED TVs. So again, I want to ask all of you, just we can fill this up on our own, okay, without any help. Because this is again a very important thing in empathy. And this is a very we call it the 4 quadrants of how the person feels. And this we do it for each user, so you get a lot of insights of the users that are actually using your product. Okay, so Jamie says, can somebody guess what she says? So Jamie is so we'll say that she's a housewife. So this we will just put it down. She's like 30 years old. She has one kid who is 10 years old, or 5 years old, makes more sense. Okay, so this is Jamie. So what do you feel she says when she goes to buy a TV? They're just guesses, but it is actually, when you take interviews, this helps you. When you have this 4 quadrant, helps you to take down uh, the answers that she gives. So anyone taking a shot? What does she say when she goes to buy a TV?
Good quality.
Good quality, yes, very nice. So she wants a TV which has good quality. What else? Very good start.
Should not be too big.
Should
Latest.
not be big, not
Too big.
be too big. Okay, I'm pretty good at writing prescriptions now. Yeah, see, again here there could be there could be a Peter who will say that my TV has to be big. I want a bigger TV. So it depends on the user persona. Okay, so I'm just trying to give you example. So, and you can be all open for different things. Anything more? She says
A slim and a smart TV.
slim and smart TV. Very nice. That's what everyone wants. So now you have to get in Jamie's shoes and say, do, think, feel. So more, anything she says more. Buying a TV, remember that. That's important.
Comes in budget.
Yeah, budget TV. Okay, we'll go to the next one. What does Jamie do when she has to buy a TV?
Read magazines.
Read magazines. Very nice. Okay. I'll rub this off because it's not needed now. You know Jamie well now. What
Checks
else?
offers on different sites.
Come again?
Checks offers on different sites.
Yes, very nice. This is often what we do. Check offers on different sites. Okay.
Look for opinions.
No, not able to hear you clearly.
Opinions.
No. Not able to hear. So read magazines, check different sites, goes to shops, goes to different shops, right? Pretty difficult to write in this angles. Okay, so what does she think? See, there is a difference between what she says and what she thinks also. That is very important. That is why these quadrants are very important. It gives a different sight to your thinking. What does she think? You're Jamie, what do you think when you have to buy a TV?
So it should be cost effective, but it
Cost
should also be
Cost effective. Okay.
and good value for money, good quality. I mean,
Okay. So similar ones. So similar says do's something different because you
About
always think different. Remember, you always think different. Yeah.
the guarantee and the warranty, the long lasting.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Long lasting. Yeah, that's a nice one. This you normally don't say, but you always think you want a long lasting TV. What else?
Sir, consume less energy.
Less energy. Very nice. But this you will normally think you will say this. Okay, but very nice. It uses less energy because then your cost of your electricity bill also will be less, right? So it's a win-win situation. And LED TVs are the ones who consume the most less energy now compared to the traditional TV. Very nice. One more thing I just want to put forth.
Beta
She,
TV, maybe to envy the neighbor.
oh, bang on. So she thinks she wants to have the best TV in the neighborhood. Okay, that's the point. Very nice. May I know your name? You're really giving very nice insights.
So I'm Genevieve.
Genevieve. Okay, very nice, Genevieve. Keep it up.
Thank you.
You're actually thinking in the design thinking way already. So the next session you can take now. And that's the whole idea of design thinking. You create more people like you. So these are what you think, and then what you feel. Again, something different. Nobody really talks about it. Now, what does Jamie feel when she's going to buy a TV? This is the easiest part actually. What does she feel?
Excited?
Yes, excited. She has to be excited. Otherwise, if she is demoralized, I don't think she'll go and buy a TV. What else?
so proud that her TV is
Sir,
better than the neighbors.
need of the TV.
Proud. Yeah, come again. I could not get. I got the proud thing, but the other thing was breaking up. She wants to be proud, or she feels proud. Could be a possibility. What else?
Worried that her kid will spend too much time in front of the TV.
Kid spending too much time on the TV.
Worried.
Worried. Okay, very nice. Okay, worried. It's good. It's good. A lot of different things. Even I cannot think of this. So that's the whole point of brainstorming. Checking more users of your product, seeing what drawbacks the current products in the market have. So all these inputs you'll get when you do empathy and when you try to connect with the users. Okay, so you got the point, right? So you try to pick what she says, you try to pick what she thinks, what she actually does to go to the product, and what she feels. Okay, and this was something that was there in actually Jamie's mind. So just put it up for you to just see. Maybe you get some more ideas. So you get the concept, right, of empathy mapping. This is sometimes also called persona mapping, where you have sometimes just pictures of different users you paste on the wall, and then you try to pinpoint a lot of things about the user, because there are cases where you cannot reach to many people. So there are different techniques, and this is one of the technique. And this is a kind of a template which helps you do that. So here it says who you are empathizing with. You write down who's the person, what they do differently, what are their jobs, what decisions they make. So a lot of insights, and you get this empathy map canvas on Google if you type, and then you can go a bit more deeper. And if there is any understanding issues or something, you can always reach out to me. Okay. So I just leave this open again a bit. I hope it's you can read it. Otherwise, you can always check on Google, because now that you are in the design thinking phase, a lot of things you have to see on Google now to relate and understand. And it's not possible in the workshop to teach all the things. And that's also what the design thinking methodology and the mindset is all about. Okay. So I'll just give you a small example of what getting into the shoes of the customer means. Now, Airbnb was one of the famous, or is still one of the famous homestay startups across the globe. And today, Airbnb also has a presence in India, along with Oyo. And Airbnb used to embark the design thinking process in all their offices. And as a part of this, whenever new employees used to come, they used to encourage them to book a homestay on their own. And in this process, what used to happen is they used to go actually through the customer process. They used to become the customer. They used to book a stay and start getting a lot of feedback from the system. So they'll get a lot of feedback. Maybe some links are not working. There are some photos which are bad. So a lot of inputs they will get from each employee, and this they will use for improving the next version of the platform. Okay, a very small example of what Airbnb does by actually getting into the shoes of the customer. Similarly, in empathy, you can also do some technique called role play. So you are getting into customer shoes is okay, but then how the user actually interacts with the environment. So for example, in one of the case studies which was done, where they wanted to make the trauma condition more manageable in hospitals, one of the designers actually enacted an injury. He got himself admitted, but it was a known fact, because if you are injured and you fake it, it's not good. But the whole idea was, he faked the injury, he went through all the processes just like how a patient would, and the doctors helped him go through the process, because then the designer actually understood what are the problems and issues that you face in the whole process, and that is the inputs that you get. Okay. So when you are in the empathy stage, you observe the end user, you're doing a bit of role play if you can, you're getting the complete customer experience, you're doing interviews and you're doing surveys. So these are some ways of getting your data for the empathy stage. So you're trying to understand the user better. Okay. And if you talk about inputs and outputs, okay, what your input is, you are being told that there is a problem. That's your input. So like in my previous session, the input was that the police in Mumbai, they had to stay on the roads for hours and hours, and they could not sit. So that was a problem. And in this phase, so what the outputs you get, you understand the users, you understand what are the type of users actually using the product, what is the frequency of functions. Frequency of function means, see, if you have a smartphone or a calculator, your main functions would be pressing the keys. So when you're actually observing the user what he's doing, Like in the example of the brush, your frequent function is the handle you're holding the brush and the bristles of the brush which you're cleaning. So this becomes your frequent functions. So what happens is, when you're doing that, it means that these areas of design you have to actually detail out and work more on that, so that it becomes a reliable product also. Okay. And you also know what are the likes and dislikes of users, and you know what are the flaws in the existing systems. So these are outputs you get from this phase. I think uh, the define phase, I think we will do in the next session, because it's already time up. And if you have any questions till now, we can answer them. And the define stage also, it will take a lot of time for you, because these two phases are very important for you to understand. And then the proto and the testing is well known, and you have a lot of things. But empathy and define are two phases which are normally not understood. And if you don't understand these two phases, your prototyping, your ideating will actually uh, take you in a different path. Okay. So we will stop at this session, Sudeep, and take the other things in the next session. I hope it's okay, because we have gone through a lot, and I don't want the participants also to get tired listening to this. Okay. Sudeep.
Hi, Sumuk.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes, we can be open for questions. If anybody has any particular
Any
specific,
questions you have, we will take the questions. Any
please unmute yourself
Mhm.
and you can ask the questions, or you can put in the chat so that Sumuk can address them.
Yes. I'll just close down the share, so I'll be able to see the chats also now. Okay. So we are having the question sessions. You can ask your questions. And for the next session, we'll have prerequisite to see this session first, because otherwise the second session what we take would be very difficult to gauge. Any questions, anything on your mind? Do you find this interesting, something different to learn? Anything, any feedback is open for discussions, and also improving the next session. That is important for also this initiative. Any questions? Any feedback? You can even type in the chat. That's okay. I can see that now. So Genevieve, thank you. I really hope you could understand the concept, because it's a very interesting process to know. And you could be designing anything, a product, a service, a poster, because everything connects to the user, and you will see a lot of difference of how the users react to your designs. And that's what we have also seen in my so many years of design, and the appreciation that you get from the users. So as a designer, you should always try to see that the user comes first. Yes, thank you, Akash.
Okay, so it seems like there are no questions.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so with this, we come to the end of our session. If and soon we'll be sharing the feedback form. So if anybody has any burning question or anything that is needs attention, we can always get back to you with the reply. And the recording of today's session will be put on a YouTube channel that is Goa State Innovation Council. You'll find the recording under live streaming over there. And thank you so much, Sumuk, for a wonderful session. It was indeed very informative and knowledgeable. Thank you so much. On behalf of the Innovation Council, I would like to thank our dear participants for attending the program and making it a successful program. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you.